Recap time. It is late on Marpneth 30th. Sun has set, and we pick up in the underground. Actually, we pick up as half of the Hand of Aegis are being encouraged through a trapdoor down some stairs in some sort of weird shack in a graveyard in West Meanderings. So this is Team Sneaky Boots, Bador, Eska, and Smokey with Kidox in tow, technically on shoulder. And so what happens next is a conversation between the masked figures of the Calm and half of the Hand of Aegis. A Zone of Truth spell is cast, but only Bador fails. As such, the questions are mainly directed at him, since everybody knows who passes and who fails, essentially. Conversation is tense, I think it's safe to say. Eventually, there is enough information passed that trust is gained. The general vibe, obviously, the Hand of Aegis, they are not pro-potentate, or pro-Drakesburg, necessarily.
Not potentate?
Potentate. But it becomes clear that the Calm are very much anti-potentate, and very much are keen to overthrow the potentate and distribute the wealth beyond the walls. There is very much a sense of us and them happening. And the implication is that few have seen the potentate. He holds an almost sort of mythical status inside the city. Eska mentions that Team Not So Sneaky are nearby and would like to give them the opportunity to join the conversation. And Team Sneaky Boots are sent up into the little 10x10 room, which is quite cramped all of a sudden again, while the Calm discuss this suggestion. And ultimately, everyone is reunited back again in the Zone of Truth. One of the Calm human starts, or at least presumably human, talks more about the issues in Drakesburg, injustice, how there are rules for some but not for others. For instance, there are powerful wizards who hold high status, like the one who apparently lives in the floating mansion. She seems to apparently be free to use magic as much as she likes. Whereas, as you've seen, people using magic on the streets face a very different reality. And then as a way of fully gaining trust, a smaller chap suggests that the Hand of Aegis can prove themselves by solving an issue that the Calm have, which is to help with the extraction of the endangered member of their group, which was the purpose for the meeting in the first place. And Smokey found that out during his initial infiltration. There we go. Eventually there's a little back and forth about what they're getting into, but the Hand of Aegis agreed to meet up with the Dark-furred Tabaxi in the Cup and Rat the next lunch. And then there'll be more details of what will follow. The group leave the little weird basement and head back to towards Dark Orchard, but stop at the Warrior and Cup, a different bar. On the way, they cross over the bridge and see that the upstream side of the bridge is covered with angelic faces, celestial faces, and in the equivalent spot where Grazit, the demon prince, is in the equivalent position on the angelic side, is the face of Eldath. Once again, all of the faces carved into this side are clearly crying. Once the party enters the Warrior and Cup, they are met by an elderly human named Elstat, who offers warm food and comfy seats. There's a conversation that follows where the group discuss the potentate in Duarte and decide it's best not to throw around Duarte's name too much, simply because depending on who they're talking to, it could have a very different impact. Could be good, but could be bad. Smokey learns a bit more about the rift and exactly what happened, and suggests an alternative possibility that it wasn't the world that was changing, but it was the memories of the Hand of Aegis. And Claire also suggests that perhaps if it was the whole world, then maybe this was more than the doing of one wizard. It could be multiple wizards working together. In exchange for this trust and sharing of information, Shoki smears the story of his clan and the issues that have happened to them. A few months back, they started getting sick. Smokey tried to investigate, and eventually the clan turned on him. So he has left seeking out a cure to their illness, and is hoping that somehow things will work such that while assisting the Hand of Aegis, he can also look to be finding a cure. As Elstat brings over this tray just piled with food, a whole roast pheasant, a nice bowl of goblin bread, various other bits and pieces, Bardor, just casually looking at his thought, notices how it just never grows right. At which point, he rolls a 7 on a wisdom saving throw. And that is where we pick up. So, before we begin, any questions, clarifications, etc., etc., etc.?
Just for the record, we did not get any names at all, right?
You have the name of the dwarf.
Gideon.
Gideon.
And then Auric or something?
Arik was the person that you...
That's about to be killed.
Impersonated.
Yeah.
Certainly
got killed.
He's in trouble, yes. And I don't know if you got the name of the tabaxi you're meeting or not. I can't remember.
I don't.
You also don't know the name of the person you're supposed to be rescuing. You don't know the name of the person who was talking to you, mostly. Tiefling.
I don't... we might...
Yeah, we don't have the name of the tabaxi.
We might have got the name of the tabaxi that was watching the door. I mean, the tiefling that was watching the door upstairs, but I don't fully remember. But they didn't seem like a key player anyway.
Right. Okay. Any other questions?
How bad is this going to be for me? Continue.
Oh yeah, where are we? Are we on the... Oh, we
The
came
warrior
back...
and the...
That's right, we're at the pub.
You're at the Warrior in the Cup.
We're at the
yes.
different
Where is
tavern.
This is in West Meanderings, just downstream, basically. Yes, it's in the east. It's just downstream of the bridge with all the crying people. Not people, the crying carved faces.
So yeah, on the map, you've got Drakesburg. Like we were up in the. I've forgotten what that.
Do you want me to bring that back up? Hold on.
Could do for a second. You've got where we landed, and then you headed south to get into Drakesburg. But if you headed east on the map, you'd hit the West Meanderings.
Yep, okay.
Did that pop up?
Yeah.
I see now.
It's coming.
Okay. So you guys are sort of about here-ish on the map. So
What?
where it says Hand of Aegis. That helps.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh no.
Are the other purple?
And that is West Meanderings. Okay.
Is that purple
Yes.
square the docks?
So
Oh, that wasn't very. Yes, that purple square is the northernmost purple square.
so this is the docks.
Okay.
This is where you crossed initially to get because the main path that leads to the gate that you've been going through, you have to cross over there to get to that. So I guess we could just draw a little bridge there, and then there's a bridge like here, and so the purple square next to you, that's the Warrior in the Cup, and then the final sort of south eastern square, that is the
graveyard.
graveyard house. Yep. So that gives you some sort of context of where you're at. So Bardor, as you pick your nail and look at it, you look up and you see Elstap bringing over the food. As he places it down, you have that weird sense of unease. You just kind of look at the group, see if anyone else is looking a bit weird.
I will look particularly at Cosette since we've had a conversation about this sort of weirdness before.
Cosette, make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Couldn't have just looked down at the ground, could you?
No.
He's not going down alone.
15.
Are you adding your own +2?
I clicked the sheet, so it added +2 for my modifier, but I did not add for the aura.
Okay, yeah, because I think
Like I have a +2 to my wisdom saves, just on my
that's what I was
stats.
thinking. Yeah, you should be getting your bonus to all your saves now.
Okay. So... Oh, so I should have got a +2 from aura protection.
Yeah,
Okay, so 17.
cool. I would add that as a what'd you call it? Like a global save modifier, and that'll just put it on everything for you.
I totally remember.
Under the
I'll figure it out.
okay, yeah, it's under the settings next to over there. Weird. I had pulled your character sheet up and it switched to that screen. Creepy. Okay. So, what do you say that was so 17?
17.
So Bardor, as you look at Cosette, she's not really looking at you. Her nose has been drawn to the roast pheasant, to the nice crispy looking rolls. What you do notice is that there's just a patch of hair that seems a little bit off compared to the rest of it. Ah, nice. There we go. It's a little shorter in one spot. It's like a little clump that's just a little short, which is just a surprise because Cosette, aside from her armor that she hates to wear because it's rusty looking,
Hideous.
she is always very well kept together. So it just seems odd. But, yeah. So the food has arrived. Elstat says, here you go, everybody. I hope it's to your liking. If you need any other beverages, just let me know. Otherwise, you're all set here for now.
How does the goblin bread taste?
Yeah.
Smack
Did have
it.
that.
I smack it out of Eska's hand.
Shoot an arrow
Don't
into it.
Don't eat that.
It tastes pretty darn good. It is, so it's kind of like almost similar to like an American style muffin, not an English muffin. in terms of size and vague kind of shape. It almost has like a, almost like a bit of a toadstool type thing, where it's like got a bit of a stalk, and then it's sort of bubbled over the top a little bit while it's baking. It is crispy on the outside, and as you rip it open, it's real soft and warm on the inside. It's good bread.
I'm excited.
And in general, you would say the food here compared to the Cup and Rat, it is night and day. This is so much better.
I know where we're eating from now on.
Yep. And what was our I've lost track of where we are in it. We're supposed to be meeting the person back at the other place.
That's a,
At the other place
What-
tomorrow lunchtime.
Okay, so we
Yeah.
actually have some time to do something with, theoretically. Or just rest.
I don't know, what time is it?
It
Roughly.
is, so it's after sunset. Probably looking at sort of 8, 9 o'clock.
Okay.
And this place had rooms, right?
You believe so. I don't know that you've actually spoken with what's his face.
No,
about
I
that
don't. I don't think we mentioned rooms.
we were coming here to get our lecture
Oh, that's
from
right.
Solarius.
Yeah. I don't think he went full on lecture though.
He didn't. He was a little bit complimentary.
Yeah.
Things turned out a little bit better than he thought they were going to ultimately, and there was some information that kind of guess came to light, and we have a pseudo trajectory.
Yeah.
So is there anything particular you guys want to talk about while you eat, or just, a little bit of just small talk, or in some cases no talk? Do you know, I'm trying to remember, there may have been a Rothe rib in this too.
There was a
I think
stew,
that-
wasn't there?
Yes.
Oh, that's right, it was a Rothe stew. You're right. Rothe stew,
I assume
roast
that's all
pheasant.
gone in Silverius by this point.
At least it depends on how much was brought out of. He definitely has partaken in the Rothe stew. This is a new enjoyment of his.
Did we, I know they're kind of tasking us, and obviously we're going to get more details from Baxi about the rescue mission, but did we get anything about what it would entail, or just kind of very general?
It was incredibly non-specific.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they stressed that their organization thrives on nobody knowing anything about what's going on. That's not entirely how
Yes,
they
they
put
don't
it,
really
but,
know about
you know,
each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think they didn't
yeah,
even want to discuss
out
it
of us.
there, so that they didn't let each other know too much information as well, yet alone us. Was that right?
The implication is that aside from some people like Arik, who has zero chill and clearly gives everything away, there is a distinct, like, they don't share information about themselves with themselves. So a lot of them don't know who other members are, intentionally so. It's very much a goal to the reason that they are still around is because they don't give information about themselves out. It's clear that they are up against powerful forces. So they are understandably cautious. Alrighty, well, in that case, the meal happens. Probably a couple of drinks are had. I assume that you've paid. I honestly don't recall if you paid or not for everything, so we'll just say you did. Well, I mean, you haven't negotiated rooms yet, so maybe you haven't. Yeah, let's say you haven't. I've changed my mind. I'm fickle like that.
I mean, cassette wasn't there, so we probably didn't. I mean, cassette was there,
That
but
is-
we didn't check with Spencer on the money
You
situation.
can check with the master of coin.
Yeah.
The accountant was gone for the week, so
So yeah. Are you interested in inquiring about rooms then? Was that the plan?
I realized after asking that I'm
I-
actually not interested in inquiring about rooms, but somebody might be.
oh, did we get any impression of resources? Like, did anybody look? And we probably wouldn't have gotten this, and I came in half. Did anybody had any wealth? Is there anything monetary that they're able to, or is it just kind of to help the purpose and to get their help? Or is there any sort of like I guess she would be thinking about is like it's 20 gold a day and now we're going to stay longer to help them. Are they able to provide housing, or do we let the ship go? That kind of thing is just kind of going through her head. So
Gotcha. As far as being able to determine wealth, make a retroactive perception check for me, or insight, either or.
yeah, just a 7.
So a lot of them wore cloaks and similar over their regular garb. Again, as part of their desire for some sort of anonymity. To an extent, you would also know that there are aspects of their appearance that mean that if you saw them outside, you'd probably be able to figure out who they were. Because, you know, like you saw the tattoos on Gideon's arm, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
The tiefling who was talking to you has very distinctive horns and a very distinctive shade of skin. So you would imagine that the combination of that horn plus that skin color, it's not impossible that there would be someone who is similar, but you would know that tieflings vary significantly in terms of horn shape and size and skin tone. So you would think that you could probably pick her out from a crowd if you saw her. So some of them you'd be able to identify, but as to sort of like social standing or anything like that, it was very difficult to tell. Yeah.
We absolutely
it's-
didn't discuss it, did we? Like, in terms of, I don't remember asking for money, but it could be something we raise with the tabaxi.
Yeah, I mean,
Compensation.
the short guy who brought it up, you would gauge from him that probably, at least in his mind, he was thinking this was proof of good faith and that sort of thing. That's not to say you couldn't negotiate some sort of compensation, but he was definitely coming at it from a, you're doing this to prove that you're not trying to kill us all.
Reputation quest.
Essentially, that's the way he's presented it, at least. Now, if you can convince the tabaxi otherwise, we'll see. But yeah.
I don't think she'd bring that up. I think that's just what's going through her head, and just seeing if I could get anything from just kind of the looks of them and the whole operation. And there was like what, like 12, 15 people in that room?
More like 20.
Okay.
It was a crowded area. Alrighty. So, was someone going to make inquiries vis-a-vis your evening plans?
Um, hmm.
Because currently, your setup is that you could potentially sleep on the ship.
Oh yeah, that would be Smokey's preference.
Okay.
That works for Esker as well.
I will say, you would know it was pretty chilly as you were heading from the graveyard to the tavern.
It's really going to come down to those who prefer the finer lifestyle to decide, I think.
I'm gonna go with the flow, to be honest. So whatever anybody else does.
All right. I've currently got 2 for Team Boat.
Because that would vote team yours.
Yeah, it's not so much
But-
about like finer things of life, just basics. Like basic necessities.
It's good that you don't have your hopes set too high.
Yeah, like just not sleeping on the dirt floor of the Cup and Rat, or not sleeping on a wood bunk in a ship that she has low-key trauma from almost drowning in the bottom of. You know.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Does this place have complimentary toothbrushes? That could be the deciding factor.
It does not.
The ship it is.
I say good day, sir.
Because like I'm thinking for Sylvaris, a bit of so this side of the river is kind of like calmer in terms of like guards and everything, and outside of the calm, we really haven't ran into what we would consider, I guess, in quotation marks, riffraff or trouble.
Yes. So, the Drake's Guard stay within the walls. As soon as you get out, you don't see them anymore. There appears to be basically a sort of a vague, semi-organized militia that are in charge of safety and security and so on. And they are, there's a different group handling Dark Orchard versus handling up here in West Meandering. You saw, as you were walking around West Meandering, a couple of vaguely patrolling chaps. Almost always, at least one in the group was a goblin. And then sometimes it would be 2 goblins. Sometimes you see a goblin and a human, goblin and a elf, half elf, something like that. So there's a mixture, but as previously noted, there is a considerable goblin presence here in West Meandering.
Okay. Maybe that we had a chef here, but huge goblin ratio.
Yeah, and you notice like a lot of the houses are like built for people of smaller stature. Yeah, the doors aren't 6 foot whatever; they're like 4 foot something. The whole setup is just built around a completely different frame.
Okay. And that was patrols, like that was actually like, I guess, guards or militia, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, they're sort of when you did see them, they're wearing like they're not really wearing matching outfits or anything. They just give off guard vibes, you know, because they're marching side by side and have weapons visible. That's about it.
Right.
It's not a very sophisticated guard vibe, but it's a guard vibe nonetheless.
I think with that information, Sylvaris is gonna, if this place seems fairly, I mean, it seems pretty nice. The food's good. This is just as good a place as any, if not better. So he votes here.
All right. So that just leaves Bardor to pick here or boat.
I
mean,
didn't Badger say he was going with the flow?
Yeah, I'm basically. So it.
A fork in the river.
I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, basically. We just pass out at the table. Let's just be completely.
All in.
Yeah.
All right. So Cosette, you head over to Elstad, the barman. All right. Was there something else I can get for you, my dear?
So, are we doing rooms for everybody?
No, I don't need a room. I'm not going to the boat, but I don't need a room.
I just wasn't sure if we were splitting up or staying together.
From what I can gather, I have 4 staying and 2 leaving.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, we'd like a room. We have 4, so if needed, maybe 2 rooms.
Yeah, certainly we can do 2 rooms. I don't have anything with 4 right now anyway. Let's see, so...
Does this guy have glasses on?
He does not.
Oh.
But he does have... His whole face is wrinkled. It's like his face is just one giant wrinkle. And he just says, let's call it 2 gold for the night. We'll cover the food, drinks, and the rooms.
That's perfect. 2 gold.
Lovely. Right, so you just go around there, and it's 2nd and 3rd on the right. And he just sort of points you around. The bar is kind of at the back of the room, and there's like you can kind of see it as you go down to the other end of the sort of this large tavern room. There's kind of like it turns, and then clearly there's another corridor or something down that way that would lead towards the rooms.
And were we meeting the Tabaxi tonight, or
tomorrow lunch.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Right. So that's Cassette, Claire, Silveris, Baudor staying. So we have Cassette and Claire presumably in one room.
Was
and then Silveris and Bardor in another.
was Smokey gonna go back to the ship regardless, or was that just his vote?
That was his vote, I guess. I guess he would. I guess if there's room for him to stay with everybody else, he'll try to stay with everybody else. I mean, he would stay in a room, but if there's not enough room, he would probably just go wherever Eska's going.
So if you kind of head into the room, there's like a little there's two kind of regular single beds, and there's like in one of the rooms there is a sort of a makeshift cot that Smokey could potentially sleep on.
Okay.
Is it like a basket with a cushion, like a round basket with a cushion?
Yeah, and there's like a little there's a little ball in there
Nice.
that as you get in just kind of jingles slightly.
Well,
He'll
Silverius.
take it.
While Silverius and Bardor are trying to sleep, he's just like clattering around the room in the middle of the night.
Just hear the sound of like claws being sharpened on the wood wall.
Yeah.
Is there like rugs on the floor? Or is it bare wood?
Everything is just bare wood.
Oh man.
It's gonna be a rough night. All right, so Eska, you are going elsewhere.
I'm gonna look for a tree.
All right. You head out into the cold. It is cold. As you head out, you notice now there's fewer lamps lit as the little village town thing sort of like heads towards sleep. In the middle of the houses, there's not a lot of trees around. But you do recall there was a line of trees near the sort of like at the back of the graveyard. You suspect that you could go behind any of the once you get sort of past the houses and away from the river, you could probably find some trees. Next to the river, a lot of stuff has been built up, so
Yeah,
trees have mostly been chopped.
that might work. I've realized I'm gonna quickly, just before I do that, I think I'm going to run up to the Cup and Rat,
Okay.
and I just want to have a peek in to see if our friends are there again this evening, because we haven't touched base with them for a while. I
Okay,
say for
gotcha.
a while, it's probably a couple hours, but like we didn't resolve plans with them.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So it's a sort of 10-15 minute walk. You probably would want to be going at a fairly brisk pace. You would think, based on how you're feeling right now, it's probably getting down below freezing tonight, potentially.
Okay.
But you walk along the river, and eventually you kind of there's like a feel of transition between West Meandering and Dark Orchard. There's no sort of like clear line or anything, but the buildings change. You don't see the houses built for goblins and stuff anymore, or at least you see a lot less. Not none, but a lot less. And eventually you make it back to the Cup and Rat, open the door, and you see Jerry is behind the bar.
Should just give them a nod.
Yeah.
And then she'll scan the room to see if they're back here again tonight. I think they kind of indicated that they didn't have any other great ideas.
Yeah. As you look in, it's almost empty aside from two heavily cloaked figures. One sort of 6-footish, one more like 4-footish, maybe 3-footish, sitting close to the fire with mugs in hand.
She'll just beeline over and take a seat quickly.
Well, we were wondering where you'd got to.
Evening. Yes, we got a little distracted from our original plan, but I wanted to just check in with you as we had been touching base and let you know we will be here, I imagine, at least another day or so.
Okay.
We may have a little inroads into finding out a little more about the city's inner workings, but we are working an angle on that at the moment. We won't know much before tomorrow evening, I imagine. We'll see how the day goes, but we are making pursuits. I thought I'd check what your plans might be.
Make a perception check for me.
That is 12.
Man, they stink. They smell really bad.
Have you been under the city?
You sort of look sideways a little bit, but realize that there's literally no one else to be listening to them right now. Hi. We had a look.
Do you manage to make any headway?
It's complicated. We were able to find an access point into the sewer system. It's possible there are better ones. This was a bit of a tight squeeze. But once you're in there, it is very disorienting. One thing we picked up on, there is a presence of Drakeswarden under the city in the sewer system. And we... Obviously, it's hard to gauge proper traveling distance when you don't have good landmarks. But there's... We found one sort of key, sort of central... I don't know what you would call that. Like I guess, tunnel. Would be fine. But there's one major one that seems to run almost in a straight line for quite a way under the city. And we could see lights further down, quite far away. I would suggest that leads at least to the heart of the city, if not further. We quickly left that and went on some side tunnels, because if we could see lights there, that probably means there's additional patrols. Hard to engage for sure. Saw a couple of them lizards. Not too close, thank goodness. We both see pretty good in the dark.
I suppose that is both a positive and a negative, that there's a presence. The presence of a force down there suggests there is something worth keeping an eye on, but it also makes it harder to approach, I imagine.
That's our thinking. My guess, I don't know for sure, but my guess is that the whatever Teta is sensing is probably directly under the keep. It's hard to judge distance in that sort of situation, because there's a lot of dark tunnel before you see these lights. So it's very hard to gauge, but I would say that it could be as far as that, even where the bulk of the light is. So we could be looking at, I would imagine that's where the bulk of the guard activity is. I mean, how easy it would be to approach, like actually get close. There's a lot of side tunnels. It feels like there's a lot of branching directions. I feel like just doing a frontal approach straight down that main tunnel, probably suicide.
Yes.
But who knows what else is down there, you know?
And is your thought to keep mapping it out, so to speak?
Oh, we can try. Aye.
I would say that we might try and help you, but I think for at least tomorrow, I don't think that I can commit to that.
That's all right.
We've got ourselves a little wrapped up with some potential people not happy with how Drakesburg is run, which I think could be a useful in, but also puts us in potential dangers. So I won't bother you with too many details. Honestly, we do not know too many yet ourselves, but we're treading a fine line in the hopes that it will provide us with more. Maybe we can touch base again tomorrow. Should we all make it?
How reassuring. Well, what I would say is this. We plan on getting some rest. And then probably heading out again early tomorrow. And we will actually try to create some sort of vague map of what we can, as at least as, we felt there seems to be a pretty good indication of when you go under the wall. So my suspicion is that we'll be able to figure that out, and from there we can gauge what we're dealing with, and try to create some sort of I don't know how easy it would be to map out, but maybe we can map out at least a portion of it, which could potentially be useful.
Indeed.
Ultimately, we want to know what the portals are for, because that's unusual, especially where they are. Suggests that they're not normal. They're there for a reason. And perhaps Tessa, you can probably explain better. And Tessa says so. There are certain pathways that are naturally occurring as a stretch, but maybe organically occurring where the distance between planes is less, and a pathway is created. This happens most frequently with Feywild because of its proximity to the prime material plane. And it's also less common, but not completely uncommon with the Shadowfell. So but those tend to be situations where you tend to stumble upon those, and they tend to have almost an aura that you can feel as you get closer. Even, obviously I have an affinity for such things, but even someone such as yourself, you would feel drawn to a portal to the Feywild. Typically they tend to, obviously, it's kind of the nature of the Feywild, that it tends to be in these sort of glorious wooded clearings and so on. So for portals to be under a city like this, I feel like I can just immediately rule out the Feywild. Can't fully until I am closer to the portal. And clearly it's hard to get close, but my instinct is that we are not dealing with Fey portal here, we're dealing with something else. Potentially something that has been created. Which is
a worry, I imagine.
Indeed. That implies strong powers. And is a concern. Because As you may or may not be aware, portals typically tend to be two-directional.
Yes.
So that is a concern, for sure.
Indeed. Indeed. Well, I suppose our hope is to find out more about the political structure, I suppose, of what is happening in the city. There is a suggestion that magic is... the ability to use magic is, I guess you could say, hoarded by the rulers of the city, and not tolerated by anybody else, and that also seems a worrying situation. Does not give me, between what that and what you are saying, gives a worrying suggestion of power.
That's why I used to not come into the cities.
Yeah, corrupt.
Oh. Corrupt and surprisingly uncivilized, despite what they seem to think about people who live off the land.
Yes. I was never very fond of cities myself. We travelled. I suppose I should get back and rest myself. We're staying in West Meandering, but I guess you could... we'll probably check in with the boat from time to time. I suppose that could be a place to leave a message if you feel you need to leave us a message and can't find us, and but I don't know how tomorrow will go, but it will... hopefully we can keep checking in with you as things progress.
Alright, same. Either leave word with Jerry and Gary or the boat. We know where both are, so that's fine.
Hi. Well, good to see you again, and good luck tomorrow.
Hi, same to you.
And she will push in a chair, head out into the cold, wrap her cloak up tight, and I guess make her way to the graveyard.
Right.
I suppose once I get kind of out a little ways from the more bustle of houses, she'll actually try and merge with the shadows and use some of her moon elf sneakiness to just in case, just effectively to try and hope to camp with nobody noticing her.
Okay. Make a stealth check.
All right, it's gonna be 22.
Pretty decent. Okay. So yeah, you can set up camp. Are you going up into the trees again?
Yeah, if there's a decent enough size one, she'll actually go up in the branches.
Yeah, it's definitely the ones, like I said, at the back of the graveyard are pretty sizable.
She's not bothered by the graveyard in and of itself, so she's happy with that.
So what are you doing as far as protection from the elements?
I mean, she will just, I guess, bundle up. I don't remember if I am yet. Oh, I don't know if I've hit that level yet. At some point, I get resistance to cold. I might have got it. We're level 6, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to look here. No, that's not the right one. Sorry, there's all sorts of... Oh, it might be this. Oh, I guess I don't have it actually written in there. I just have the thing. think I'm cold resistant.
All right, cool. We'll say that you are for now. Because I can't find out.
But yeah, if I am, it would just be sort of bundling up somewhat.
Okay. All right. So, for those staying in the Warrior Cup, I'll start with the ladies. Claire and Cassette. Actually, let's start with the guys. Silveris, Bardor, Smokey. Any chat before bed, or you guys just all kind of tuck it out and sleep?
I would be fine to just go ahead and get ready for bed unless anybody has anything else they want to try to talk about.
Not from Silvaris. He's just ruminating on things currently. He'll probably like walk around the room, like, you know, go over to the window and just kind of like, you know, scan the outside just out of kind of habit. But
And remind me, do you have any of you three have any sort of like nighttime rituals that you go through before turning in?
I don't think I do, because I don't think I mean, I don't think. Oh, I think I might be getting characters mixed up. Hold, please.
And Silvaris has more of a morning ritual, if anything. He might just take out his scroll, his order scroll, and like review it at night, but the morning is when he would actually study it.
Ooh.
Put my gear down and fall face first into a bed and go to sleep.
Good enough.
Before I fall asleep, I don't have any rituals that I go through. But before I fall asleep, I might pull out the mystery pouch that I picked up in the street and see what's inside.
Sneakily or just...
Oh no, not sneakily. He's not worried about being sneaky about it.
Gosh, when did we pick that up?
That was... Oh, it was a while ago. Well, it was... I think it might have... I don't know if it was the same day or the day before.
Let's see. Okay, I don't think it's here. I think it's the one before.
Let's see. We are facing the back of the castle. A lot of traffic coming into the harbors.
Yep, I got it.
Okay.
Okay. So, you open this little pouch, and inside you see, what appears to be a braid of hair that's like tied off at either end. It's about 4 inches in length. And as you pull it out, it sort of looks blonde as you reach in and pull it out. But as you pull it out, the color shifts. And it changes to match your sort of primary fur tone, which is what, a brownish. Right?
Yeah, like a Bengal cat. So like, yeah,
That's right.
a brown. Yeah.
So yeah, it's it like changes and is the sort of the dominant color, say on the back of your hand / paw. It basically matches that perfectly.
And it's just a strand of hair.
Yeah, just like a little sort of 4-inch long braid. It's tied off at both ends.
Okay. Is anybody else in the... Who's in this room with me?
Sylvaris is looking at you, holding
yeah,
on to this little thing
Sylvaris.
of hair.
And a basically snoring bar door.
Okay. Well, if Smokey sees Sylvaris watching him, he's going to ask him, like, do you know what this is?
He stands up out of the chair that he was sitting in, slowly walks over, and he's staring down at it. That looks like hair.
Yes, but it seems to change colors.
What do you mean?
Is it some sort of magical item?
And he holds his hand out, open, like, waiting for Smokey to pass it to him.
He'll put it in your hand.
As it falls into your hand, color changes from brown to silver. And just sits in the palm of your hand.
That certainly is intriguing. And it just looks like a 4-inch lock of hair that changes color.
Yep.
And this was all that was in the pouch.
Smokey will turn the pouch upside down and see if anything else falls out.
Nothing else falls out.
That's it.
So Sylvaris just kind of takes it and he kind of like grazes it against his robe, which is more of a brownish color. Does it do anything?
Stay silver.
Stays silver. He scoops up a portion of his robe and into his hand, and he puts the hair on top of it, like breaking skin contact.
Stay silver.
He grabs it and hands it back to Smokey.
Smokey takes it.
Shifts back to brown.
Do you have any ideas?
I guess I gotta ask, do I have any ideas, Phil? If we're going
roll
purely on my, like, character intuition currently, it's not really.
roll Arcana.
14.
You've not encountered anything like this before. It's curious. But it's odd. Nothing, it doesn't really doesn't ring any bells.
His response is going to be some mundane, magical machination. Does not appear to be very useful.
Well, maybe I will ask the others in the morning.
The little one, Claire, she might, for some strange reason, know more about it.
Okay. I will be sure to ask her.
We didn't need to communicate with Addard anymore tonight, did we?
I don't know, did you?
I think he's on. I think we put him on hold for the 20 gold a day, right?
That was it, right? We didn't tell him. We didn't promise us hey, we're coming back if we're not back.
I think it was. I feel like I remember him hoping that we weren't going to be bothering him. He seemed quite eager to get rid of us.
I think it was a case of I feel like we might have left it open in terms of if we were going to come back to sleep on the ship or not. But yeah, he did seem to not want us to bother him.
Okay. I don't think I put good enough notes in my note taking. Uh-huh.
I mean, that sounds kind of right to me.
Yeah, apparently I didn't make notes about whether we were staying on the ship or not. But I feel like that's what I remember of the conversation.
Claire Cosette. Anything before bed?
Nothing out of the ordinary for Claire.
Nothing really noticeable for this set. She probably does this quietly, but I think she kind of prays every morning, before going to bed. And I think specifically after what happened tonight, I think she took, I think she went into that experience kind of not. It was a little bit of a stretch, I think, for everyone. We've been so cautious through this, and then kind of finally, just go with it. Infiltrate this thing, see what happens. I think that's very out of character for her normally, but I think she kind of starting to realize, we're much more capable than we give ourselves credit for. So I think she was kind of trying to, make it okay with herself. Hey, we're taking a huge risk, and why are we taking this risk? And wasn't sure if that was the right thing to do, but I feel like she's kind of getting more confident in her and the group's abilities. And then I think as we were leaving, seeing Eldath on the bridge was for her, it just kind of gave her this piece of that was a sign that we're on the right path. I don't know if she shared that with everybody yet, but I think she's just kind of thinking through that as she gets some time before beds. You might hear kind of whisper some of those things underneath her breath as she's going to sleep, but I think that's kind of the only thing before she goes to bed that she's kind of doing.
Now, let me ask you this, because you weren't here when it happened. So you saw the bridge and you see Eldath. And so that does offer some comfort because, it's kind of like a representation. Here on this strange island, you still see Eldath's presence. But you do see that Eldath, like everyone else on that, carved into that bridge, is crying. So does that change how does that affect how she's kind of reading it?
Yeah, for sure. If it was Eldath with a thumbs up, that's just awesome. So she's still kind of hesitant, something is still, we don't have the whole picture. She's not like completely at ease, but I think it just kind of meant to her like at least we're on the right path, and it's still a lot of danger and we don't know what we're getting into, but at least she took that as, it seems like we're on.
Alrighty. Anything else from the night before we head into the morning?
I will just say that Eska will make her way there before dawn.
Okay. Alrighty. So, as Eska heads over pre-dawn, there's a fairly moderate breeze. There's even a few flecks of snow. Nothing serious, but just a couple that kind of drift by lazily. It's pretty cold. Especially as you kind of move from the shelter of the trees and have to cross the graveyard. You're very aware of the wind. It's it's probably strong enough to blow out some torches, and it is cold, definitely below freezing. You kind of traipse across the slightly crispy ground as you make your way into town. Again, you notice a couple of the patrols going past. They don't really seem to pay you too much mind as you head over into the Warrior in the Cup. Elstad is not behind the bar when you go in there. At this point, it's kind of got that, the sky has that nice pre-dawn look where as you look to the west, you see it sets in the west, right? My brain is suddenly frozen.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as you look to the west, it's still like dark and brooding. And as you look east, you see the pre-dawn light starting to pick up. There's no sun in the sky yet, but the sky is already getting light. And it's warm and comforting. And you do see a fairly full moon, not fully, but fairly full moon that is starting to set. And you are aware that you have made it into the month of Uktar.
Ooh.
It's the first of Uktar. And as a reminder, Uktar is also known as the Rotting.
The rotting.
So that's nice. So yes, you head in to the into the Warrior in the Cup. There is a young goblin female behind the bar, who sort of gives you a little nod as you come in. The fire is still lit and raging. No one else is in there right now, so you have your choice of where you'd like to sit.
Eska will probably have sat down as far away from anything as possible. Far away from the bar as possible.
Okay. Proximity to the fire important or no?
Not for me.
All right.
Effectively,
That
she
would-
wants to be able to talk. As privately
Gotcha.
as possible.
The goblin kind of sees where you sit and kind of gives you a look as if to sort of ask if you want anything without actually asking if you want anything.
She will say, my friends will be down shortly. Breakfast for 6?
gives a nod, putters off behind the door. And you're just kind of chilling for a little bit. It's, about 10 minutes later, the goblin comes out with a tray that's just laden with assorted meat and some cheese, some more goblin rolls, and it's like a giant pile of scrambled eggs in one bowl.
Eat the rolls before Barter shows up.
Before he pets him out of my hand. Part of me wants to do the Joey and Friends where he eats everybody's meal in one go. But she'll thank her, encouraging her to go back to what she was doing. And then assuming she does, she will message each person individually in the hope that they are getting up, and say, breakfast.
Not, hey, are you awake?
She's not going to bother with that.
So let's see, it's probably
I mean, I'd have waited till a reasonable time
Six-ish?
to order food. That's reasonable, yeah. And I will tuck into the goblin bread while I'm waiting.
Okay. Who is most likely to be up early out of the rest of you?
Savarius, I would think, is one.
Claire is
He-
usually also an early riser.
All right. So as you're sort of going through your normal morning rituals, you hear a little voice from Eska in your head, summoning you to breakfast.
Savarius looks over to Smokey and Barter to see if they're if they caught it.
Did I catch it?
So as you look over at Bardor, you see he's kind of like rolled over and he's flat on his back, and Smokey's just curled up on his chest.
Is he
I'm assuming
needing,
that didn't happen.
needing him?
No, no, they're both still asleep right now, so it's just
So he's just laying on Barter's face.
basically. No, I'm assuming that's not canon. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I mean, if I knew about it, I would stop it. But if the cat has killed me, then I don't know if I can do anything about it.
I need to do a medicine check on Barter.
Yeah. You just see my body in the cat.
Yeah, let's have you each roll a d10.
Did you both of us or just?
Yes, both, please.
Oh, okay. Well. Oh, the one that looks like a top.
Yes.
1.
All right. Smokey is asleep.
Well, see if I can actually roll it. Oh, there it goes.
Cassette, do you think you'd be up? While we're waiting on Bardor's dice to
Well, the
dice.
first one was a 7.
Okay. So yeah, Bardor's awake.
Okay. If he'll just send Kedox to fly over and like aggressively land on Smokey. and then like jump off, like the landing jump where it goes.
I sit up like the Undertaker whenever I hear the breakfast thing.
Oh, there we go. They've all sort of popping in.
Oh. That's a lot.
All right. So, Smokey, you're now awake as a pseudo dragon is sitting on you. Not particularly heavy, but didn't land very gracefully.
He would be startled. His tail would go poofy. But he would be up.
Alrighty. All right. So guys are up. Cosette, unless you think you're normally an early riser, give me a D10 as well.
Big 2.
Alrighty. Yeah, Claire, as you're sort of going through your normal morning thing, and you've shared a room with Cosette a couple of times, and you know that usually you get most of the way through your sort of morning prep before Cosette even starts to stir. And you're probably, only sort of halfway through your normal routine before you hear Eska call out. Well, I guess call in to your head. And Cosette is nowhere near looking like she's waking up right now. So Claire finishes up going through her routine, wakes up Cosette, and you head not so much down for breakfast on account of it's a one-story building, but you can head across to breakfast, where you see there is a sizable spread. Well, there's what would have been a sizable spread, but apparently Eska ate like 3/4 of it. And so eventually everyone kind of assembles, and you can eat and discuss your plans for the day.
Eska will just let the group know what she found out yesterday from our friends.
Good to know. Good to know.
She will fully lay that out.
And they are returning on their searches today.
Yes, I did not wish to pry because I did not want to be pried back at, but I get the sense that their interests are they seem very interested in portals, and I don't know if they try to monitor them for their own reasons. I do not know, but they seem pretty determined.
We each have our interests on that. How are we desiring to pursue our interest? We are meeting with a representative of the calm. But to what extent are we entrenching ourselves?
Like, how much are we willing to trust them?
More. How far are we desiring to go with them?
Even beyond
I
this first mission?
For my part, I do not know. It does not feel like it is our fight to fight particularly, but I suppose it all depends on how much it ties in with what we need to know, perhaps. If the information feels like it is leading us on the same path, then that we are already on, then that feels useful. But if you know there is a certain limit to that, then it is not our fight.
Precisely how I feel on the matter. This is a good opportunity to explore more of what we have learned. They have knowledge about the potentate and those that surround him. The one that we are looking for. This could very well lead to him.
Yes, I don't want to get wrapped up too much in it because it may be beyond our need to do so, but as far as it lays in our path, it feels worth pursuing.
Now we just have to weigh the difficulty of this task. They want us to extract someone, wasn't it?
I believe so.
And that is our mystery.
I dare say it could be a challenge. But you know, to me, one step at a time. We meet with the representative and see what they lay out. I don't know about you others, but I am very fearful of being inside the walls and how much it limits our abilities. So I will need to know as much as they can tell us about what we are doing, because we are a group that depends strongly on our magical abilities of one way or another.
I had a thought with that in mind. They mentioned the imbalance of power throughout the city. How some individuals are privileged more than others. And I've also seen you, Esker, take advantage of your ability. We need to find what they look like. Come a risky scenario, you very well may be able to use your power to disguise yourself.
That is a possibility. Yes. Bado also surprised me the other night. He too can change his appearance.
I just smirk.
In a pinch, we could use that to our advantage, and one hopes, although maybe not with the worms around. I don't know. I suppose it depends on how much they sense and how much they communicate. If they just react to the presence of magic, well then if we appear to be the right people, then it won't matter. But if they sense the type of magic, we could be in big trouble.
more to learn of these weave worms.
Indeed.
Yes, perhaps we can find out a little bit more about how they sense magic.
And speaking of learning more about and magic, we have seen you do some impressive things thus far, Smokey. What else are you capable of?
In terms of magic? Well, I can have some spells. I can do things like, I can do some healing. I can do lots of things with water. Let's see.
He's like, sounds impressive.
I just don't know how much water is going to help on land.
You can change your form. That could be very useful.
Yes, this I can do. But this is a reason to find out if this would fool the... What are they called? The Weaverns. Or if they would see through it.
That is true. Your I've seen your type of magic before. The way you shift is almost... It is not like mine. Yours is more natural. I've seen it amongst my people. Some of them can do likewise. So that may not even register as magic to the right person. But I don't know. It's a worm, so who knows?
Perhaps the
Yes.
tabaxi that we are meeting.
Yes.
If we are going to help, it would behoove them to illuminate us on the matter.
For sure.
Is there anything we want to do before we meet with them? I don't have anything.
I will just have to take a few moments to prepare for some spells, but otherwise I am good.
How much time till we meet?
Lunchtime, correct? So, a few hours?
Because I was like, whoa, everybody.
I feel a lot better about this whole situation.
I don't know how to work this sheet.
Double cast calm emotions.
You get calmed and you get calmed.
Well, Phil opened stuff and I don't know how to close it.
I didn't open that. Did I? Maybe I did.
Alright, stop clicking.
So so various question, does anyone have anything they want to do prior to heading over to the Cup and Rat?
Have we passed like any place that actually has any like I don't know tobacco or stuff? It's like you know.
We have, but it is only made by goblins.
Oh,
Make a you can make a perception roll as you're heading through from West Meanderings to Dark Orchard.
okay. $17.
Great. That's a 9 on the dice. I
Yes.
was like, that's probably not that high. All right, and then roll a percentile die for me.
Okay. Oh dear. 8.
8. Okay. So you do see somewhere that appears to sell assorted stuff. That has a reasonable chance of selling tobacco. It's not a tobacconist. You imagine you could find one in Drakesburg itself, but who knows when you're going to end up back in there. This is more a sort of a, haberdasher type thing. You note as you kind of see the sign, the door is about 4 feet tall to get in. And the building in general is fairly squat.
Maybe it's a halfling. Okay, let's do this. And so I go in.
Okay. You head inside.
Yes.
And you see it's a little bit of a duck for you to get in, but is it? I can't remember how tall you are exactly.
I'm a little over 4 feet.
A little over 4 feet. So a little crouch, not too bad. And you go in, and the it's not a large room at all. Only 10 by 20-ish. It's not tiny, but from floor to ceiling, which ceiling is only about 5.5 feet, the walls are just shelves, and on every shelf there's different stuff. It's just a wild mess of stuff everywhere. And you do see in one corner there is an older looking male goblin just sitting on a stool, currently appears to be knitting, and he kind of looks up as you enter and says, "Oh, hello, Master Dwarf. How can I help you?"
Yeah, do you have any pipeweed?
Oh, certainly. Certainly, yes. What, do you have a particular type you prefer?
Nothing in particular. Honestly, probably your cheapest.
Oh, I certainly have a cheapest. All right, and how much are you looking for?
Better be safe. Give me about, if you've got it, do five pouches.
Oh, certainly, I've got 5 pouches. Right. Let me take a look here and go through this. So, and he kind of gets up and he's hunched over a little bit and pops his knitting down on his stool. And putters over to one of the shelves, and again, there is absolute chaos on these shelves. But he, without hesitation, heads to the 3rd shelf down, 4th shelf across on the back wall, and pulls a small wooden box off there, opens it up, and starts rifling through. and quickly pulls out five pouches of what you assume are going to be pipe weed. And what is it? Out of curiosity, do you mind if I see a pipe? I have a thing for pipes, and he pulls one out himself. And compared to both of the pipes you have, it seems quite crude in design. But he quickly lights it up to demonstrate, and it actually has the way it's set up. There's like two almost like little chimney stacks that poke out of the side of the main bowl area. So it creates this interesting effect where as the tobacco is burning, and there's just these two little whiffs of smoke that come up from the sides. I just have a thing for pipe craftsmanship, you see.
I kind of like, I actually kind of say that, you hear the grunting out loud. All right, I bring out my lesser fancy pipe.
Do you recall where you obtained this one?
No.
Do you who would you imagine it was like dwarf made or someone else?
I mean, I think that was something I probably would have gotten in Delzimmer at some point in time.
Okay.
So like it wasn't anything like too fancy or sentimental or anything.
Gotcha. Okay. So he holds his hand out and takes it as you eventually offer it to him, and he says, looks like halfling craftsmanship to me. Probably just over the way in Delzimmer, if I were to guess. Quite nice indeed. Well, here's these. It's there's 2 silver a go, so 1 gold.
Pardon?
2 silver per pouch, so a gold total.
All right, I'll fish it and give him a gold. And I'll say, so you know a little bit about pipes, huh?
Oh, yes. No, this one, and he sort of gestures to the one that's still just gently smoking out of his mouth. This one was actually made by my great-grandfather quite a few years ago now. I didn't pick up the craft myself, but I have a fondness for them. My name is Greylock, by the way, so pleasure to make your acquaintance, Master Dwarf.
Yeah, you lived here a long time?
I've lived here now for must be at least 30 years or more.
See.
Some of the other families have been here longer. We sort of set up a home away from home.
Where was that home?
Well, a lot of the first founders here were originally from the Toad Squats over the Gulf, north of the island. Bad history up there. Whole big to-do. Fair number of goblins were killed or captured a while ago. And there was a feeling that maybe we'd find somewhere more accommodating.
Would I know anything about the Toad Squats?
Here. Give me a history check to see if you remember.
Golly day.
It's your favorite thing to roll.
Yep. We'll if we can. Couldn't even find it on the sheet for some reason, so that tells you guys how well I'll do, probably. Oh dear. Yep, 4.
4. That's not very many.
Nay.
There is a story for sure that you remember about the Toad Squats. But you just can't grasp it right now. It definitely rings a bell. There's something to do with goblins and Toad Squats that sounds familiar. But exactly what it is just eludes you.
Right. Well, I was kind of like fishing in my pocket for the fancy one because I was kind of curious, but I just have this funny feeling and I just kind of like put it away. And I'll just say, well, you have a good day now. And I'll just walk on out.
And also with you, come back anytime. Always, there's a lot of rotating stock in here, so if there's anything in particular you're looking for, I can either have it or I can find it for you.
Sweet. So how much would 5 pouches be? I'll let you determine that.
I would
one
say
smoke's worth.
Oh man, this is the good stuff.
no. Each pouch will. I mean, it depends how hard you're going. But each pouch is probably worth 3 or 4 days.
Alrighty, that'll do. That on my sheet. And I will immediately start to smoke a pipe, but the regular one, so because this place is freaky deaky.
What I'm really hoping is that at some point, Cassette finds some really, really top grade pipe weed, but she gives it to Esker instead. Because that seems like the obvious choice.
I just poured water all over myself, but it was worth it. Yeah. Well, that would be most excellent.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyone else have anything else they wish to accomplish this morning before heading to lunch? In that case, we'll pick up as the Hand of Aegis make their way to the Cup and Rat in Dark Orchard. I would change the picture, but it's another tavern, so we're going to stay in the tavern.
They all look alike.
Same architect. Which, of course, isn't true, because a lot of the architecture in West Meanderings has distinctly goblin vibe, whereas that's far less frequent in Dark Orchard.
Before we get there, I will ask the group, possibly uncommonly for me, but I will ask the group if they've heard anything about toad squats.
Would I know anything?
I think.
Anyone who wishes can roll.
Oh
a history
yeah, I
check.
definitely. Because I'm thinking this is back in the Cobalt Cave.
I think I had an uncle that got toad squats, but
It's a terrible, terrible disease.
Oh man.
I see one so far. Let's see. Oh boy.
Oh, you
8.
people are not helpful at all.
Can I make it to my character sheet?
Sorry. Can you roll for me?
Do I need to bring your D20, Liz?
Oh, there it is.
oh,
It's all worth it.
Sweet. I thought it was hovering over a 2 for a second, and I was like, yeah, there we are.
Liz, when Bardor asks, you feel this cold shudder go up your spine. You absolutely remember the mention of toad squats and the fact that you're in a very a goblin dense area really makes it hit home. Famously, some years ago, Rolovar's Red Fangs were sent to the Toad Squat Mountains to capture some goblins. They were supposed to get about 40 or so for a wizard. And the raid went poorly. And the Red Fangs ended up killing approximately 1,000 or more goblins. Ultimately returning back into town, bloodied and bruised with the 40 goblins in cages as requested. The Red Fangs are very, very much hated by pretty much all of the greenskin tribes in the area as a result.
Good thing we didn't mention that guy in there.
Yeah. Yeah, she'll relay that information.
That's why it seemed familiar. Then I will convey what I said from that guy said. Yeah, I guess I will. I'll be nice today. I'll explain to the party why I ask.
I guess as we're walking as well, Eska will Druidcraft for the weather report.
So you kind of see this vision of clouds moving in, the again a couple of little flecks of snow, and your hands almost grow cold. You feel like at the warmest, which is soon, it'll be a little above freezing. But that's it.
Okay.
And at night, it's going to plummet. It's going to get very cold overnight.
Alrighty. To the cup and rat.
To the cup and rat. Okay, so you head inside to the cup and rat, and you can just about make out that it's right around midday. Inside, as you recall, possibly, there's a large fire off to the left. Some smaller tables that way, smaller tables to the right, and close to the fire, you see at the sort of the largest table that's close to the fire, you see you see the tabaxi sitting there, not robed, not masked, sitting next to the fire, looking quite toasty, with a mug of something in front of him, beer or beer adjacent beverage. Jerry's behind the bar. You notice that there are no other parties on that left side near the fire. There's a couple of parties off on the right as you come in, like right of the door, but there's no one else left of the door. It's just the tabaxi sitting there. And he looks up and gives a small smile as he sees you head through the door.
I guess we'll head over.
Yeah. Smokey would walk up to him and put out his hand to shake his hand and just say, "Good to see you again."
And you also. Please, sit. We have this area to ourselves. I have ensured that nobody will be coming over this way.
I see if I believe him with that. I mean, I'm not too worried about it because if they wanted to kill us, they could have. But at the same time,
You may certainly roll an insight check to see.
I guess also Esco be keeping an eye on other patrons, see if they look like secret undercover guards.
Okay. Make a perception check for me.
12 for me.
12. He's a little hard to read.
Yep.
Don't have a lot of experience with feline faces that aren't like house cats. And even then, probably don't have a lot of experience with them. And you haven't been traveling long enough with Smokey to get a proper feel for how that operates. Just a different... There's different things happening.
Mm-hmm.
Face shape's different. You can't see, like, wrinkles properly in the face because there's fur everywhere. It's tricky.
18.
18 perception. So, quick, casual glance around, trying not to look too obvious. You don't immediately recognize anybody down the far end. Nobody is sort of like openly carrying a sword on their hip or anything like that. You kind of take it as a given that everyone's probably got at least a dagger on them, just because, you know, because. So everyone's probably armed, but everyone's not necessarily, you know, it's you're not getting any sort of like blatant undercover guard type vibes.
I guess knowing that there are probably other people in the group who are more interested in getting tactical information about this thing than she's likely to do, she is gonna sort of more just keep a general eye and ear open and let them do the working out of stuff. So she'll probably sit furthest away at the table.
Okay. It's supposed to be a circle. Boop. Clearly a fire.
There's two fires in the room, is what you're saying.
All right, here's our Tabaxi friend. See, it says T. So Eska's kind of like over here somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So who wants to sit closest to our Tabaxi? Just gonna do this. Not realize that those are separate pieces. Everything's fine. Don't panic.
Smokey would.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yes. I'll be kind of close.
I'll sit down, but I'm not sitting near the guy.
We've got Smokey, Silverius, probably a Bador over here near Eska.
He's got the most like chipper individual to one side, and then
and then Silverius.
Yeah,
Good cop, bad
the devil
cop.
and the angel on the shoulder.
2, 3, 4. So then I guess Claire and Cosette either side in the middle.
Unless they want to jockey for position.
That's true.
you just squishing on one side together.
Is there a camera on the other side? Okay.
Do you like the idea that one of us is sitting next to Silvar? Just to,
Oh, that's true.
it's probably best to be supervised. Either one, it doesn't matter. But
Honestly, maybe
glad one of us.
maybe one of you should actually get in between you and the other guy. So it's like he's sandwiched in there to keep him under control.
So, who wants to take Silverius prodding duty?
I feel like they
C
both
here,
go to
and I
try
got
and
a
take the
C
chair on the other side of the table.
We're not sitting next to him.
That's fair.
Like the
like
musical chair of rock,
chairs.
scissors. Yeah.
All right, give me a D20 from both of you.
They're like looking at each other, playing rock, scissors, papers under the table. Like,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
damn it.
This is going to be a rolly situation. Oh my goodness.
Silvarius, roll a d20 for me.
Oh.
I'm inches away from putting the O.
Rolled a 15 for you.
Thank you.
All right, so Claire's next to
I
Silverius.
like how winning means further away.
It's like a Silvarius saving throw.
I mean, what a time to bust out the 20.
I save it for when it's really needed.
We love saving our 20s for the most important things in our game.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's true.
Death saving throw? Nah. Sitting next to Silvarius? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so the 7 of you are sitting around this table. You know that, as before, actually, Jerry does not make his way over to the table. It seems to be no interest in actually serving people, really. And so the Tabaxi says, "All right, so we are all here. I think perhaps to help earn your trust a little, I will pull back the veil ever so slightly. My name is Marius. I was previously, in what feels like another life, a member of the Drakesburg Guards here. I was encouraged to retire, so I did. And ever since, I have been fighting back against the tyranny I saw and was required to enforce. I know a little about you. Not much, but a little. Perhaps you can give me a little more information to work with.
Well,
He kind of looks mostly at Silverius and Smokey since they're closest.
Yeah.
I was writing down what you said.
Same.
That was my delay.
I'll look around at everybody else and I will, ask him, what do you know about us?
Well, I know a little about you just from observations yesterday. You are good at keeping quiet, good at disguising yourselves, quick with your tongue, and quick with your wits. These are all very valuable traits. But, I know a little bit more as well. I know that you went traveling through the city, making a couple of apparently meaningless stops. But you are clearly newcomers here. What I don't know is why you are here, or really exactly who you are.
Is there, are we at a plain table or is there any drinks or food on it?
Currently no.
Okay, okay. Sorry. Okay. So Varus, he leans. He's got his like elbows on his knees, facing Marius. Just keeping real good eye contact.
Before we get to more in-depth introductions, have you been observing us since the beginning of our arrival? Or just are connected through the city enough?
No, I did not know you were coming. We got word that there was an interesting group making their way through the North Gate. And I heard a little bit about your travels in the city. As perhaps became clear in our conversations last night, we have people from different walks of life. We have people in high places and low places. So, if something unusual is happening, word gets around.
Do you
We are
happen?
able to talk.
Did you have a halfling following us?
Curly hair. Frown.
Yep.
No, not one of ours.
But you know of them?
Oh, yes. Yes, no, they are a member of the Velvet Club. Not ours. But, we know of them.
Since we are here meeting, I am Silvarius.
Very well.
I am Smokey.
A good name. I am sad to say I left my true name a long time ago.
I am sorry to hear that.
It is part of the price I paid for being part of all of this. You do not all feel you need to give me your names. It is fine. I can. At least I have a couple of you. Do you perhaps have you seem to be an organized group. Do you have some sort of name that I could perhaps refer to you all as?
I don't know that Smokey knows this name. Or does he?
Don't know either.
Probably not.
Unless Addard was,
Oh yeah, I don't, might have.
he would know us, but I don't know if he would like.
He would.
He was expecting.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
What are the odds that he was like, "We're expecting the hand of Aegis, Smokey. Get the ship ready." And
Pretty low.
wait, what?
It's pretty low odds.
Pretty low. Okay, I misheard that. So Varus will speak up, and he's just,
Once we make it further in our conversation, more familiarity can be acquired.
It sort of holds up a point. It's fine. For now, I have Smokey, I have Silverius. We're good to go. Okay, so the reason we are meeting, unless you have anything else you wish to discuss first.
Go over the details first.
Very well. One of our number is currently hiding under the city. They are currently located, I believe, in the sewers beneath the district of the element, in the south of the city. We know that the sewers are protected, patrolled, not to 100% degree, but there's risk. For us to try and extract her ourselves would be very dangerous. If we were captured, it could unravel the entire effort that we have made. And we are working tirelessly to bring about these changes. So understand, that is why we cannot go into this ourselves. So, what we want for you to do is to find our friend and successfully get her, at the very least, beyond the city walls. And, if at all possible, away from the island completely. Since she is a known element to the powers here, anywhere on the island is probably not safe.
Name description.
Sure. Her name is... And he pauses for a second. Just kind of looks you all up and down. There's no choice. Her name is Lavinia.
Sorry.
She is elven.
Crossover name.
Oh boy. It's Ari's sister again.
Weird. Her name is Lavinia. She is an elf. She has long silver hair, pale skin, pointy ears. I'm not entirely sure what she was wearing when she fled. But I'm pretty sure it was in the night, so who knows? I doubt she had time to get fully prepared. She was working to try and get close to the potentate, but was having difficulty with many layers of protection. But we believe that she has some sort of evidence that would help, or not evidence, just information, intelligence that could help us perhaps knock out another one of the House of Cards. She should have some supplies, but I don't know how long she would be able to survive down there. I'm confident that he is unlikely to be discovered immediately, but there are people looking for her. They know her face. They know that she is creative and nimble. They may even assume that she might use the sewers, I'm not sure. But ultimately, we need to get her out. Correction. I need you to help get her out.
Well, she is in hiding.
Yes. She's in hiding in the sewers, beneath the District of the Elements. I have a reasonable... I'm fairly sure I know where she is. But... it could be one of a couple of places. It was difficult for us to even confirm that she was initially still alive. We found that the piping of the sewers makes it difficult for magical messaging to travel long distances. So until we got close, we wouldn't have been able to talk to her, but there wouldn't have been a way to get that close without arousing suspicion.
Like the fall of Rome, all their pipes here are lead. Blocks the arcane.
Maybe if you are in the sewers, perhaps it is easier, at least once you get close. Perhaps messaging and similar things will be more effective, less interference, you know?
So there is some sort of... Is it an arcane ward against spells down there, or just the environment itself?
Yes, no, I think it's just... There's no ward or anything down there that I'm aware of. It's just the fact that the pipes block the ability to send communications.
And what about divination? Scrying and the sort.
Oh. We do not currently have anyone in possession of that ability. If you do, that could help you. It is a complex skill, I understand. I don't know how that works in detail. As I said, I was a fighter, I'm not experienced in the matters of the arcane myself.
We have discussed amongst ourselves and are willing to go a certain distance in helping you in this matter.
Is that distance away from the island with Lavinia in tow?
It very well could be.
Okay, I feel like there is a but coming.
Given the unfamiliarity with each other, we have certain goals in mind, and you have knowledge that could aid us in these matters. Part of what, well, moving forward, how long this might take, perhaps a minor incentive is in order. Time is money, after all.
Well, I can't say I'm surprised. You know, I said to... Nearly said a name. I said to one of my friends that he would probably be asking for something. No, of course, I did promise to properly equip you so that you can have adequate protection down there. That we will take care of. Do not fear. We will be able to at least give you a degree of protection that should be something akin to what you are used to. Perhaps not up to your usual standards, but good enough to stop you dying, hopefully. Now,
Do you have perhaps a map that we might be able to utilize?
unfortunately, we did have someone who was working on mapping out the sewer system for us. They were captured a while ago. We have not heard from them since. We do not expect it.
Did you hire them like you are hiring us?
No. No, they were one of us.
It's good that they did not rat you out.
Yes. Indeed it is. I would be mortified, actually, if any of our number would, as you say, rat us out. Though Eric has a giant mouth, so there's that. But, nevertheless, no, I do not have an adequate map. I have vague ideas, okay? I know where entrances are, at least. I can give a vague concept of directions. But we don't have a full map. I wish we did. There are numerous ways to get in. There are sewer entrances in, well, all of Drakesport, the light docks, but we have found the best entrance is out by the Bridge of Tears in West Meandering. It's far from the city, means trekking underground further, but there's never a patrol that far out. So, it's an easy way in. It's, you kind of slide down an inlet from the river. And it's where a lot of the water is initially collected to help maintain a flow to keep the undesirable materials moving, so they don't just sit and fester. That is where I would suggest entering. And then it is just a case of trekking from there through into the city. But into under the city, as it were. Unfortunately, that would have you going in on the north side. You would have to get through the length of the city almost, get to where she is residing, and then back out again. It's possible that you could find another entrance that is closer to where she is. I would not recommend trying to get into the sewers from within the city walls. That seems like it would draw a lot of attention. It's possible, of course, but it seems like it would draw a lot of attention. So my recommendation would be perhaps you could go outside the city walls, but on the south side of the city. That would potentially give you more availability. Yes.
Caution is the better path moving forward currently. You said you had ideas where she most likely is.
Yes, there's a. There are a number of. Well, the system of pipes down there is a mess, but there are often these sort of larger rooms that sometimes just have a little spur off them, where sometimes you find. I mean, there are places that she would be hiding, perhaps, like one of those little spurs off one of the big rooms. I think those are the most likely that she would be down there. I can, if you can get to a certain point directly beneath the Cloud Lodge, there are maybe 3 places from there, like close to where the Cloud Lodge is, where I think she is. She will be in one of those 3, almost certain.
Have we heard of the Cloud Lodge?
I'm trying to think if you've heard of it by name.
There was
Because if
somebody
not,
who
I'll bring that up.
mentioned Cloud something. Lady of the Cloud Watch.
Was that?
Yes, that would be where you've probably heard it. When one of the members of the calm was talking about the imbalance. He referenced the Lady of the Cloud Lodge. You could logically infer that this is probably the floating mansion over the city.
Was it Cloud Lodge or Watch?
Yes.
Okay, I thought
Cloud Lodge.
okay. I wrote Watch. So.
They sell Cloud watches at the Cloud Lodge.
Correct. So that is she I cannot say for absolute 100%, but I believe she's going to be around there somewhere. So that is where I would recommend you get to. It means navigating to the far side, of course, as I said, unless you find a way to enter from the south out in somewhere. I believe there's probably an entrance in the Windstep somewhere, which would be outside of the elemental gates. Possibly in the west ward outside the western gate. And there should even be one or two even in the waves. But that means, obviously walking through the city above ground to get there. So it's up to you. You need to decide exactly how you want to do this. Just know that obviously if you can enter closer to her, then it's easier to reach her. You still have to figure out the whole extraction part of this.
What's the composition of patrols in the sewers?
It varies. The closer you get to the core, the more frequent they are. I believe that there is probably multiple dozens of soldiers patrolling close to the core. Most of the patrols that are moving around in the sewers are much like the ones above ground. A couple of guards, usually with a weave worm. The guards will almost certainly be traveling with torches. Not all of the Drake Wardens have the ability to see in the dark, as some of us do. So they take no risk. Besides, they have no problem being there. They are supposed to be there, so no need to hide their location. Yeah.
Maybe I know this, maybe I don't. But do those giant worms shut down magic, or do they just alert?
So From what I understand, they do not negate magic, they don't stop magic, but they feed off it. So, you know how they glow in the presence of active magical effects. They have the ability to it can sap some of the energy from those who are attuned to the arcane, you know? Again, not something I've experienced, but some of my companions have in the past. And they have expressed how they would, if the creature does this, there's this feeling that came over them. To me, I've seen them do this, but I didn't feel it because I don't have that affinity. But they said that they felt the air get thick, and they felt like they lost some of their power. It's hard to explain. Perhaps I know the person you should be talking to about this. But it's complicated. They also indicated, though, that when the creatures did this, they saw some of their wounds start to heal slightly. So perhaps be wary of that if you get into a fight.
You've spent enough time around them. Well, on that, how long have you served with the Drakesguard prior?
I was a member of the Drakesguard for 10 years, give or take.
And was here in Drakesburg or elsewhere?
Yes, no, I was only here on the island.
In regards to the weave worms, how far can they detect things?
I believe it is in the region of about 50 or 60 feet.
Okay. And the guard patrolling the sewer. I am not personally fond of the Drakesguard, but we are not. I do not wish to take life. Unless absolutely necessary. Are they just individuals?
It is possible that some of them will tell you they are merely following orders. For me, this is not a good enough excuse. I questioned my orders, and I created enough fuss that I was forcibly retired from service. You don't have to follow orders. To me, if they are just blindly following orders, they're no better than the ones issuing them. That is perhaps for you to decide. But I will shed no tears if any of my former colleagues are lost to this. They had the same choices I have had. I'm not the only one who got out. So, my question is this. If I give you weapons, armor, the locations of other entrances I know, are you willing and able to up Lavinia tonight?
Tavares' eyes kind of trace back to the other party members.
I'll just give a short, quick nod.
Likewise.
Same.
Sure. Why not? I've heard about half of it.
Oh no.
I cut out again briefly
Oh.
for a minute.
I'm sorry.
It's
I
Not
just-
dangerous. Not
I
dangerous
like-
at all.
Yeah, it's those weave worms, and
Yep, definitely.
I like the fact that everybody's just giving a short nod, and then Claire's like, "Sure."
Okay. So, here is the plan. Do what you need to over the next few hours. Meet me back here. Say dinner time. We'll go get you equipped. And you can decide how you want to proceed. And we'll send you on your way. Agreed?
I mean,
Agreed.
he nods.
Alrighty. In that case, we will end the session there
Ooh.
in anticipation of next session. Gearing up and heading into the sewers.
Bum, bum, ba, bum, bum, ba, bum, bum, ba.
What I will suggest in the interim is having a think and a chat about the different options you want to take. We can do some of this off screen and out of character. Just so you can kind of come to a consensus about how you want to do it. By all means, we can then, in character at the beginning of the next session, have some of that discussion again as to the merits of different options. But try to come up with a plan of action so that when we come back, we can have a reasonable idea of where we're going with it.